Hi Rohit, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, hi sir. Very good morning. How are you, sir? Thanks for asking. I am doing well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm absolutely fine. So, can you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, sir. First of all, giving this opportunity. Yeah, myself, Rohit Kumar. I am currently working as an associate product specialist at one of the fintech domain, like under risk and quant analytics department. And
Hmm.
I have almost 1.5 years of experience as an associate product specialist.
Hmm.
And coming to my daily task, so I will be working in the product management domain. So basically, whenever we get some kind of requirements from the client, so from the senior product managers, we will get the requirements. According to that, we will create some mockups and we will file the stories in the Jira board.
Hmm.
Apart from that, we will also do testing. So whenever we find any bugs during the testing, we will create those bugs in a Jira board, and we will work closely with the engineers to close the defects. And we also do some kind of support work, like usually in my company we have certain applications for each team.
Hmm.
So whenever client was having some issues while they are using those applications, so we will get some kind of tickets from the clients.
Hmm.
That might be some kind of UA issues or some kind of calculation issues, because it's related to portfolio management applications.
Hmm.
So, for example, client was expecting some result and our application gave some other result.
Hmm.
So it's not, there is a mismatch, right? So we will try to prove how the calculation behind all those things. Yeah, and yeah, these are the tasks I will do on a daily basis, sir.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, great. So, what do you know about test plan and test strategy, and what is the difference between the two?
Sir, could you once again?
Yeah. What do you know about test plan and test strategy? What is the difference between the two?
Test strategy, I exactly don't know, sir. But about test plan, I know. Like in the test plan, we will do like what is the scope of our project, overview of the project, and how many members we want to include in our for doing the testing, and estimation time, and if we are using any automation tools, all those tools, and number of team members, and any defect tools, like if we find any bugs or anything, how we are going to report, like tracking all those things, and test closure, and risk and mitigations. All these will, and different types of testing we want to do, like UI regression testings, and yeah, all those things will come under test plan. I'm not sure exactly about test strategy, but I will look into
Mhm.
it, sir.
No worries, no worries. That is absolutely fine. See, test plan, as you were mentioning, it is defined, it can be defined as a document for a project, right? Any project you can take. So, what is
Yeah,
a
FRS, all
project?
those.
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
FRS documents, system requirement specifications, all those things. Once
Mm.
we get all those kind of things, we will gather requirement analysis and we will start writing test cases, all those things.
Right. So, in test plan, you will define the approach, right? What
Hmm.
is the scope of the project? What all things you will be testing, right? While test
Yes, sir.
strategy is, you can say, a set of protocol or instructions which explain the test design and execution, how the testing needs to be performed, right? How you will perform the testing, right? That is test strategy.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Test strategy is itself a part of test plan, right? A test plan can be changed while test strategy cannot be changed, right? Now, test plan is generally created by the test manager, right?
Okay, sir.
And test strategy is created by the project managers.
So basically, it's like a process related worry.
Yes, yes, process. And
Yes.
if you say test plan, then one more question which is very commonly asked in an interview, can we change the test plan and who will create the test plan? So these kind of questions you can get in an interview.
Basically, I think test plan will be designed by test managers or test leads.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And see, if you have certain predefined standards, then it would be good to create a test strategy. While if you have some good testing strategies, then it is good to go for test plan, right? So these
Okay, sir.
kind of things are important with respect to test plan and test strategy.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Okay,
your.
please. Okay. Um, which are the different challenges that you are facing in testing?
So basically, we need to do manual testing, sir, and we continuously need to do the testing for all of our applications which we are currently handling in our team. Uh, and while executing those steps, basically, every time client will not do the same kind of analysis. So sometimes every client will use different types of analysis. So it will be very difficult for us to cover each and every prospect of the applications. And yeah, and we will mainly test the main scenarios like in our current requirement, like some least bother cases will be there. So that and all will be difficult for us to test in our applications.
Okay. So basically, you are telling about the validation process. How do you test, right?
Hmm.
But
Yes, sir.
yeah, so which are the different challenges that you are facing in testing? Let's say you started your work, maybe you started writing test cases, but then requirements got changed due to some input from the client side or from the stakeholder side, and then you have to update your test cases or modify your test case. So that is one of the challenge that you have faced in testing, right? Which are the other real-time challenges that you are facing in testing?
Hmm. Not till now, I never encountered such kind of issue.
Okay, no worries. So when this kind of question is asked to you in an interview, so you can tell sometimes, the development team takes a lot of time in compiling and doing the deployment. And then the moment that build or the release comes to you, you hardly have sufficient time to test. But at the same time, you have to provide a sign off, right? So this is also one of the challenge in testing, that appropriate time is not being dedicated to you, appropriate time is not given to you, right?
Okay.
Now,
If
second,
they
yeah.
release the pre-build and the sprint is getting closer, so it will be difficult for the tester to test all the scenarios. Such
Absolutely.
kind of cases.
Yeah. And then let's say if they are doing some code refactoring, right?
Mhm.
So again, when they do code refactoring, there are chances that the regression issues might come up. So you need sufficient dedicated time to do testing of that as well, right? So,
Yes,
so those kind of things you can highlight when someone asks you what are the real-time challenges you face in testing.
sure.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll give you one real-time scenario. Um, Consider a feature in which you have files which are to be uploaded in let's say azure.com, right? You are aware about Azure, SharePoint, and all these things. Okay. Now you have to test this feature end to end, this Azure feature in which the files are getting uploaded and the files can be downloaded. So how will you perform testing for such particular feature? You can tell me the high level test scenarios.
So basically, for example, I am the end user, so I want to upload my files, like it may be text file or CSV file or Excel file. There will be a lot of files. First of all, I will test with the different files I am going to upload. So whether the upload is happening properly or not, and how much time it is taking. Like, and it will also vary from size to size. If I am uploading a 5 KB file, it will upload very faster. So if I am uploading for more than like 1 GB file, it will take a little bit more time when compared to the lesser files. And once the upload was done, I will check whether I was able to download the same files or not, like, and how much time it is taking for downloading. And I will also test with other browsers, like it may vary from browser to browser also, like uploading and downloading, all those things I will check. And without downloading, we can view the files in like online itself also sometimes, like without downloading we can also view and how much it is taking. And if my file consists some kind of images, for example, I have a word file and I have uploaded it and it consists some images, so whether the image quality is correct or not, all those things I will test, sir.
Mhm. Okay. Now, when you get this kind of feature, so apart from file size, you can also take the types of files, Word document, zip file,
Mm.
XLSX file, right? So these are the different types of files that you can test. One more important test scenario over here would be that when you are downloading the file from that particular Azure portal, so it should not get
Yes.
corrupted, right? It should be
Yes,
working fine. You should be able to open it. You should be able to use it, compress, process it further, right? It should not
yeah,
be.
whether the
Yes.
name was whatever the file uploaded into the Azure one.
Hmm,
So I will give some ABC. So when I am downloading,
hmm,
it consists capital letters. So when I downloaded the file, it might it consists the same name like capital ABC. It should not consist like small letters and should not consist some other things. It
hmm.
also need to be tested, I think.
Right, right. Now, one more important test scenario would be, let's say the max limit for uploading is 1 GB. Now you need to
Hmm.
try with multiple files having total of 1 GB limit. Are you able to upload with one single file, with a single file of 1 GB itself? Are you able to upload? What if you are exceeding the file size to 1.1 GB or 1.2 GB? Or what if you keep 999 MB, right? So that's how you have to test with the boundary value analysis. So over here, the starting of the answer, you should tell like, I'll start with the testing techniques, boundary value analysis, and this will be the test data that I'll be using, right? Okay.
Okay.
But I think rest of the scenarios were good.
And error handling messages also we need to test
Yeah.
because if I am exceeding the file size, so it
Hmm.
should give the client friendly message. If it is giving some kind of technical message, so people cannot understand, that also need to be included.
Correct. Now, another test scenario would be, let's say if you are trying to download from the Azure portal, but your account is already expired. So what kind of message you are getting? Okay. Maybe
Yes.
your password would have been reset maybe after 45 days or 60 days, whatever the time limit is there, right? Then what happens? Then if you are trying to download or upload a 0 KB file, right? Then what happens? If you are trying to upload or download the file with the Unicode characters, right? Then how would it, uh, then,
And if you are uploading same another file with the same name, then also we need to check that case also.
yes,
Yeah, it gives some kind of warning message like already the file has been existed in your folder. Such kind of things we need to check all those things.
absolutely. So if one such file already present over there and you are trying to upload it with the same name, then what would happen? Yes, that is a good scenario. Okay. Then with respect to concurrent testing, uh, number of users are trying to upload and download together. So how is the
Mm.
response? How is the behavior of the
Like
application?
application should not get crashes.
Hmm,
Yeah, I think that will come under performance testing.
hmm, hmm. Right. Okay. This is fine. Yeah, I think these test scenarios are good. Hmm, okay. Now let's move to the next question. Uh, you are aware about smoke testing, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes. Now there is a big application. It's a complex application which has almost 1000 plus test cases. How will you choose the test cases or test scenarios for smoke testing?
Basically, smoke testing we usually done whenever the application is stable, like whenever the build has come from the dev team.
Hmm,
So we will test the basic functionalities. So out of 1,000 test cases, if the build is stable, first of all, I will check whether the application is stable or not, whether it is installing properly at my end or not. I will check that one. After that, if the installation was successfully done, like I will be checking the main features. For example, if that application is having login feature, uh, if I forgot password, all those things, main things, home page, and if I have some other links to navigate to the other pages and helpful documents, and if it is a e-commerce application, like I will test the end, not end to end, whether I am able to add the product to the cart and all those things I will check.
Hmm.
Like a high level scenarios I will test, sir, initially.
Yes. So that is smoke testing that you will do high level scenarios.
Yes.
But how will you identify the test cases, whether this test case is good to go for smoke testing or not? How will you identify whether this test scenario is eligible for smoke testing, should be considered for smoke testing? There are 1000 plus test scenarios available with you, right? The your team needs to take a decision on smoke testing. You people need to start smoke testing. So how will you identify the scenarios for smoke testing?
So if we have logging feature facility, so based upon that one, we will get some, for example, Kibana is a tool.
Hmm.
So where we can track the user's login, how the uh, features are used by the clients. So we will get some reports like how the clients were using on a basis like 90-day basis, or basically it's a limit 90-day basis. And we will check those reports and what and all the functionalities that our client is being used frequently.
Hmm.
So based upon that one, we will have certain test cases where those functionalities will be covered. So I will test those test cases in the initial basis. Then I will go to the next basis.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, fine. So whenever this kind of question is asked to you in an interview, so you can tell that there are some P0 test, Pre-0 related, priority related test scenarios are there. So that you will consider first for smoke testing, right? It might
Okay,
happen
sir.
that you have got 1000 plus test scenarios or test cases, but you will identify 15 to 20 good test scenarios because of which you cannot give the sign off to any release,
Okay, sir.
right? So these kind of scenarios, these kind of test cases will hold will play actually a vital role in providing the sign off. And if they are working during your smoke testing, that means you can go for the detail level of testing further, right?
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. Now, which is the methodology that you are following?
Like SDLC or what, sir?
Yes, yes. So are you
Agile methodology only,
agile
sir.
methodology? So
Agile,
which are the
yes.
different Scrum ceremonies that you are part of?
Sprint backlog,
Hmm.
sprint grooming, sprint retrospective meeting, all those things. I will be in the part of those meetings.
Right. So let's say there is a grooming meeting going on and you are supposed to give the estimation for some particular user story. So there are two user stories, user A and user story A and user story B, right? So how will you provide the estimation for two stories?
So it's basically it depends upon the developer uh, time, how much time they need to fix that issue, or
Hmm.
they want to develop the particular feature or what. Like whether they want to fix the bug or they want to develop the new functionality.
Hmm.
And yeah, it will be like a hourly basis or number of days. It's a depend on case to case. Some companies will consider one point as
Hmm.
one day, like that it will be.
Hmm.
It's case to case. And if I have two user stories and if I want to put it in the current sprint,
Hmm.
so for example, I found a defect and I kept it in the backlog. So yesterday the sprint has started and I have found a bug while testing. So it is breaking the functionality. The client, that is the main functionality in the application and it is breaking.
Hmm.
So then immediately I will create a story and I will put it in the top of the backlog and I will mention them. And it is a high level and it is impacting the client, impacting the functionality. So we need to uh, pull this story into our current sprint, because our main perspective is like clients should not affect the application should not affect. So that's why I will ask them to pull the defect story into the current sprint.
Hmm. Okay. So this was about the process when you find some particular defect, you will add it into the story, right? You'll create a story, you
Yes.
will discuss with the team, and that story would be taken into the sprint planning, sprint grooming, next sprint, or maybe in the existing sprint. Okay. But let's say if someone is asking you about estimation, then you have to provide estimation based on the acceptance criteria, what is written or what is mentioned in the user story. Of course, one point that you mentioned it very rightly, it also depends on the story points, right? Some stories
Yes,
are in t-shirt sizing, small, big, extra large, large. Some stories have points in the Fibonacci series, right? But
yes,
you can also give estimation based on the acceptance criteria, whether that acceptance criteria is simple UI UX related kind of, or it is some validation messages you need to test, or it is end-to-end feature that you need to test. With respect to user story A and user story B, how many integration scenarios are there? Right, so that is also
okay.
one of the additional thing that you can consider at the time of estimation, because integration testing is a very important thing. User story A individually, if you test it, it will work. User story B individually, if you test it, it will work. But how the system will behave when you integrate two user stories together, right? So that you can explain in an interview.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. If I'm developing a feature, new feature, and it will get input from the application,
Mhm.
so in that case, it will take more time. If I am developing a new application in my software, it
Mhm.
doesn't require any input from the other application. So it's depend on case to cases. In the
Mhm.
first case, it needs some input from the other application, so it might take it. Then we will give more estimation, and it will take more time also.
Yes. So this kind of scenario-based answer you can give in an interview. If it is not dependent, if it is completely dependent, then how will you give estimation? Okay. Okay. So, Rohit, I'm done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. Could you please guide me in which aspects I have to improve?
Right. So, whenever the scenario-based questions are asked to you, like what will happen, what will you do in this scenario, what will you do in this situation, then you can, uh, you need to come up with the to the point answers, right? Like we were discussing about this estimation. Then prior to that, we were discussing about test plan, test strategy. So those things you will have to work on, right? Rest all
Okay,
looks good. Your communication skill is good. Presentation was good. You were able to answer, most of the questions. I think 60-70%
yes,
was good. It's just that you have to again revisit few of the basic concepts and look from the practical perspective. How are the
yes,
things
sir.
happening,
Okay.
right? So these.
Basically, like our application was already built, sir. So
Hmm.
most of the development work was done.
Done.
So we will rarely get the development works.
Hmm.
And yes, sir. Like we will do some kind of small testing only, like regression testing on weekly basis.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that is the thing, sir. Actually, I have done manual testing for only 1 year. Nowadays, I am not doing. I was shifted to another part. So
Oh.
I was assigned to another product, which is basically for the data availability testing, all those things. So
Mhm.
like I came to different aspects sir, now.
Okay, okay, great, great. No worries.
And actually, for like my current company is a product based company.
Mm,
So
mm,
we don't work for any client, sir. That is the thing. So whatever the testing that we usually do,
mm,
so we will document ourselves, and we will just put it in one of the application.
mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the current scenario we are following.
Okay, okay, no worries. So, all the best for your career ahead, Rohit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.